Hey, welcome to the Road to Rock, the spring episode. Check it out. Is this a Christmas tree? No, it's an Easter tree. Isn't it obvious? There's eggs on it. There's birds. It's symbolism of spring and Easter. And Easter bunny came. Got my Easter basket. Look at that. We got a chocolate bunny. Some eggs in there. Excellent. Gotta love it. Welcome to the Easter show. Well, actually, Easter's already gone by. And same with Mother's Day and even Father's Day. I'm a little late making this show, so I've been leaving this Easter tree up for a little too long. Like summer solstice is around the corner. So, you know, time to make this show, time to get this stuff down to get the summer tree up. But anyways, I don't mind having Easter stuff around for whatever, especially when it's chocolate. Good stuff. So, you know, I think I'll just talk about Mother's Day. I never talk about that. What can I think about? Got myself a nice maple pecan flavored coffee. Great. Different flavor for every season. Just like a different tree for every season. So anyways, Mother's Day went by, like I said, and my birthday. Fuck, I'm not gonna talk much about that. That never excites me. You know, it's like, you just get older and uglier and closer to your death. I do not accept my age at all. I'm in complete denial. I am 16, 30 at the most days. I'm never my age. No, thank you. What's growing up? Grow up. You must grow up. I'm not going to grow up. You ever see people that are supposedly grown up? They're boring. They have no soul. They have no life left to them. Fuck that. Don't grow up. Sure, you can manage your daily chores and your daily duties, but is that really being grown up? It's just called living, really. So if being grown up means to be boring and stiff and no fun, no thank you. I'll stay 14. No, 16, because I want to have sex. Anyways, Mother's Day. Let's talk about my mom. Since the band and the project is called Burk, that's where I came from. My mom's crotch. Yeah, it's kind of a scary thought, but that's where I came from. I have a slight feeling that I remember being born. The lights and the feeling. I'm not sure if I'm just imagining things, but I kind of think I do. I'm not sure. Yeah, so for Mother's Day this year, I'll try and think of some nice things about my mom. If you've been watching the show, you'll notice I am complaining about this, complaining about that. Man, she was a raging bitch. And she was. Was it drug influenced? Was it just the stress of having 5 kids? Knowing that maybe you possibly killed your husband for the insurance money? I'm not sure. So let me think here. Was she always a raging bitch? Well, when my dad was alive, and I remember him being alive, I remember a lot about him, and I'll get into that in a moment. I have a hard time remembering my mom back in the days when I was a baby. I remember her coming in, putting laundry beside my crib, into the drawers. Remember that. Remember her bitching at me to eat my chili before I could go outside and play. I remember that. I remember her handing me a baby bottle that had tea in it from my younger brother, Sean. He's the youngest one of us all. Tea she would feed him in a baby bottle. And I would take a few sips out of that baby bottle and go, man, this fucking tastes good out of here. It's great. Try tea in a baby bottle. It's great. Oh my God, I'm so freaking itchy. I feel like I got fleas all over me. I've been treating the cats next door, our neighbors' cats. They're all covered in fucking fleas. I tell them, your cats have fleas. Do something. They do nothing about it. So I bought drops and spray and everything else. So after dealing with that, I just feel like I'm crawling with the fucking things. Anyways, one moment. I need a sip. Hopefully there's no fucking fleas in there. Anyways, yeah, thinking back when I was young and when both my parents were alive, I have a hard time remembering my mom during those days, but the moments that I do, she was bitching even then. Even when my dad was alive, I always thought it was, excuse the squeaky fucking chair, I always thought her attitude was just because she was raising 5 kids on her own. the stress of that, losing the husband due to her own actions or someone else's or his actions. I don't know what happened. We're told that he shot himself. But it's a hard pill to swallow. But a lot of doctors do kill themselves, so I don't know what to think. So I have no answers. So, back when we lived in the townhouses on Royal York Road in London, Ontario, just around the corner from the house we lived in the rest of our lives, I remember, what I mentioned before, the chili. I remember someone's birthday party. There was a train that was going to be a present. I remember, can I play with that train? She goes, no, you play with that one over there. I'm looking at her like, who are you? You're supposed to be my mother and you're fucking talking to me like that? I didn't get any love from her even when my dad was alive. So it wasn't just because he died, as I'm recalling now. That was just the way she was. I don't know why. Bitter because of her childhood, perhaps. Not sure. I don't get it. Anyways, can I remember anything good back then? I remember roaming around the townhouses that we lived in. And I'd ride a wagon. It was always this wagon. That was my vehicle. Like, what am I, 3? Age 3, guaranteed. That's the age I was. 'Cause I remember wearing diapers on the beach in Port Stanley. Wearing diapers on the beach. I remember, see the picture? I remember that day. I remember. That's amazing, right? Memory's phenomenal. But anyways, what the fuck am I trying to talk about? Yeah, I remember going around the complex where we lived on the wagon, and my mom was never around. She didn't even seem to care that I was missing. I don't even remember one time that she looked around and saw me in the little park area where I lived. She goes, get back over here right now. And I remember thinking as a kid going, oh, you care now, but you never did like all the other times? Just scratching my head as a young child. Anyways, I remember, so not too many good memories of her then or after. But what can I say good about her? It's Mother's Day, right? Well, I was born. That's not a bad thing. I wouldn't be here, so... I do get my looks from her and my dad. I look like both of them, really. I get the artistic side from probably both too, because I found out later my dad played guitar, he liked photography, very much like I do. Maybe she hated that in me because I reminded her of him, and if she didn't like him, she took it out of me. Or she also named me after one of her boyfriends, and he rejected her. She's seeing him in me. She also would say that I remind her of her twin brother, Denley. Oh, you're just like Denley. And all she ever says about Denley, her twin brother, is, oh, what an asshole. He this and that and that and this. So, yeah, nice mental abuse there. Oh man, here I go with all the negative things, right? Okay, I gotta think about something positive. It's Mother's Day, but it's kind of hard. A lot of the times we're just fucking negative bitching and... Okay, let me think. She was a Cub Scout leader. You know, when I took Cubs, she would just fucking scream. There goes the good topic, right? Scream and yell at me to do every project. Come on, we gotta do this. She just made Cubs a living fucking hell. I don't understand it. I don't regret it, but my God, she just made it so unenjoyable. And then, yeah, anyway, she ended up being a Cub leader, which is fucking weird. But, what else? She put me in ballet, too, which is a very strange thing. Here's a quick note. Every time I try and think of something nice to say, my mind just remembers all the bad stuff. Tell me this isn't a strange thing. My mom thought my dad was gay. She thought this guy was... he had a relationship with this guy named Charles Kingsley. Because he said, oh, Kingsley's after me for money again. And apparently she found a letter from this guy saying, I'm with you with all that I am. That doesn't mean he's gay. It could mean that he's a fucking gay guy after my dad. And I don't think you're going to say, oh, Kingsley's after me for money again. That opens up a door you don't want to open, doesn't it? You're not going to mention that. So I think she's probably wrong. But you never know, right? So why am I even talking about this? Oh yes, I remember. I had a brain fart there. She put me into, I'm in grade 3. She puts me into ballet. That's about the gayest fucking thing you could ever let your kid fucking do. Go into ballet. I didn't mind. The girls were cute. Jumping around, prancing around with all these hot chicks. Hot chicks, I'm in grade 3. You know, until they wanted me to wear tights. I'm like, I'm not wearing that fucking shit. You crazy? Which is kind of funny because I ended up wearing that stuff in the Van Halen tribute many years later. Hey, I like those tights now. Girls like them too. Makes them flash in the audience. Fantastic. But anyways, isn't that an odd thing? You worried that your dad was gay, so you put your kids into ballet. And I think she put us all us boys into ballet. My sister kept with it because she's a girl. She can get away with it. You get found out that you're doing ballet when you're a kid, your life is over, ruined. You'll be ridiculed, beaten up even at school. Because that did happen to people that my sister knew in ballet class. And they were found out. Fuck that. That's a horrible thing to put your kid through. So I remember liking it as long as no one knew. It was fun. But I kept graduating the classes because I was kind of good at it. But then I thought there was a girl from my class at school in the next grade up in ballet, and I'm thinking there's no fucking way I'm going in that class, if even for a second. Anyone sees me in there, I'm done. I'm ruined. No fucking way. So I'm standing outside in the freezing rain, not going into the building. Can't be caught dead anywhere near there, can I? But then I couldn't go to home, I thought. My mom would kill me. So this is actually turning out to be a good thing. About a good memory, actually. Because I remember calling my mom and go, I was crying too. I was frozen, soaking wet in this freezing rain. I've been calling from a phone booth. If you remember those things back in the day. It was a booth that you'd go into. There was a phone in there. You'd call. You put a quarter in it. If you're not aware of what we used to have, that's what I did. But she instantly was very understanding. Goes, okay. I'm like, Jesus. I just sat in the fucking rain for 2 hours, crying and freaking out, and she just goes, okay. So I give her credit. She was a hard ass bitch, and I guess she meant well by it. But she was also very understanding and caring too. Whenever you didn't want to do something, she wouldn't force you to do it. So I was kind of taken back by that and thinking, oh, that's not who I thought she was. So, and that happened a few times with different things, where she was a lot more understanding about a certain situation that I thought she'd freak out over, but she wouldn't. So there's a good thing to say about her. Now let's see what else. Well, she was a lab technician. She would take people's blood, analyze the blood, analyze people's poopy, which is kind of gross. But you know, she took bacteriology, if that's what you call it. Looked up the blood under the microscope, checked for little critters like bacteria running around, and so that's a pretty impressive job. And raising 5 kids. So, well, obviously it's a good thing. So when I see parents now, girls going, oh, my life is so hard, I gotta raise a kid, I gotta do this. I go, my mom had fucking 5 kids and about 3 jobs at the same time. Shut up. That shuts them up pretty quick. That's for sure. Let's see, what else? She had a nice, soft, innocent side. Like she liked Christmas and not Mother's Day. Valentine's Day, of all things. She liked that. So you get 2 personalities, but I think we all have 2 personalities. There's a hard-edged side that deals with life. There's a soft, innocent side, which is our youth, inner core. It's not unusual. But, I liked her better when she was older. She was much calmer, more gentler, easier to get along to. It was more enjoyable being around her when she was older. So that's kind of maybe another reason why I stuck around, because it was kind of nice to have a mother that wasn't a raging bitch all the time. So it was nice. And too bad the others didn't really get to see that. They all fled the nest before they could walk or fly. And, they never came back much either, which is kind of crazy. My older brother goes, "Oh, I cut ties with mom years ago." You don't cut ties with family or your mother, ever. They all cut ties with me. No one calls me, like if you've been watching the show. Still, no one has called, messaged, nothing. Are they fucking mentally ill? They treat their own family like that? They're obviously guilty of fucking doing something. Or, I don't know what it is, but they are liberals, aren't they? The most crooked, lying, deceitful, hateful people I've ever met. Well, or perhaps they hate the fact that I'm revealing all of the family secrets in this show. But you know what? Why have secrets? Why live and not share it with others? Good or bad, it's your life. I don't understand people that keep their life a secret. Oh, it's no one's business. You know what? There's no point in living if you're not going to share what your life was. Some people just forget their past, don't care what their past is. Why be alive then? Why are you on earth if you don't want to remember your life? I remember fucking everything. And it takes a little practice. You just got to backtrack and think about it. But I've done it. And it's amazing. My dad died when I was 4, and I feel like I got a fucking flea crawling in my... Oh, I don't, but it's just like, man, your mind plays tricks. But I'm age 4. So from age probably 2 to 3 to 4, I remember lots of my dad. And living in the time when my dad was alive. Like I said, riding the wagon around the townhouse complex. I remember a time I saw this kid riding his car, or I found a car was always this little red car that you'd sit into and you'd pedal and you steer and had a little horn and stuff. I remember thinking, wow, that's amazing. I think the door opened too, which was like fantastic. I remember riding this kid's car, and my dad drove around in his Volvo sports car. I remember that specifically. There he is, looking at me going, and he says, "What are you doing?" I go, "Riding this car," thinking it was perfectly fine. And he goes, "You can't be riding that. You get out of there." And I'm thinking, what the fuck? I was kind of pissed off. But yeah, he's right. You can't be riding someone else's kid car. But amazingly, he went out and bought me the exact same car. It wasn't my birthday. It wasn't Christmas. He just went out and bought it. That was really a nice gesture. He was very generous that way. I remember that like it was yesterday. And what else do I remember? I want to remember this stuff and talk about it. Because these videos, which probably nobody watches anyways, but it's a nice external hard drive from my memory bank. So when I'm older and I can't remember a fucking thing, I can watch these videos and go, oh yeah, right? If I even know who I'm watching. I might not even recognize myself in the damn video. So, what can I remember? Oh yes, speaking of that red car, I remember some little fucker stole it. And I just instinctively knew who took it. There's a little kid just around the fucking corner living in the same complex. And we called the police. And I told my mom. They took my car. And I took the police over to that house, to their backyard, and I said, "They have my car, I know it." And the cop asked, there's the mother, there's the kid. The cop asked the mother, "Is there a red car in that little shed thing there?" And she looks, she goes, "No." She lied. I didn't know for sure she lied. I just instinctively knew she's full of shit. And here's me. I was probably 4 at this time. I go, "She's lying." I just knew she was full of shit. And I remember the look on her face like, "You little fuck. How dare you?" And the cop goes, "Well, do you mind if I look?" And she goes, "Okay," which is really stupid on her behalf. And sure enough, my red car was in there. Unbelievable. I remember the cop going, "You should be, how did you know it was in there?" I go, "I just knew." "Well, you should be a police officer," I remember him saying. It's amazing I remember that. And I remember lots about living around. I remember my dad's doctor bag, opening it, looking in it, playing with all the things in it, which is kind of fucking crazy. What if there's needles in there? So he's kind of irresponsible letting us play with this doctor bag. The scalpel, not scalpel, the knee, whatever you hit your fucking knee for the reflex. And the other thing for listening to your heart. And The smell of leather and alcohol is something you can't forget. It's just a strange smell that only a doctor bag would have. And I can't believe we don't have that doctor bag. Where the hell did that go? My mom sell it? You don't sell the fucking doctor bag. That was your dad's doctor bag, right? Like, it'd be so amazing to have that doctor bag. Unbelievable. Speaking of doctor bag, I remember all of us kids had slivers in our hands. I don't know how the fuck we got slivers, but we did. And we're all in line, and he's to get our sliver taken out by my dad. Every time someone's getting the sliver out, they're like, wah, freaking out, right? I'm thinking, holy fuck, it's gonna hurt. And sure enough, it hurt like fucking hell, him digging the sliver out. Yeah, but it's kind of cool that I remember him doing that. So he actually performed a medical surgery on me. He was kind of a surgeon. Family doctor surgeon. Father's Day did go by, so there's nothing wrong with thinking about these things too. I remember him making something in the basement, a piece of antique furniture, him telling me to get away from the saw, because you might get hurt. Him driving us. I went on a doctor visit with him. He went to see a patient and he brought me along for some fucked up reason. Where the hell was my mother? Why did I have to go along with him? I don't know, but it was cool. Him spanking me, and I don't know what I did wrong. It's amazing how you remember the spanking, but you don't remember what you did. You don't even remember the spanking, so why bother spanking kids? Because you won't remember a fucking thing. I remember shoving a pillow down my pants, and he was laughing. I go, oh great, he's not going to really do it, because he's laughing. Wrong. Pulled the pillow out and whacked my ass. And I'm like, fuck, what a fucking cocksucker. Hopefully not literally, if my mom was correct about her suspicions. Yeah, and on that house call that he did, there was some fucking kid, I guess the son of the parent that he was visiting, just took me around the house that they lived at, and there was a pigeon. I remember a house full of birds. But this kid was just fucking evil. He just ended up hurting me, hitting me somehow. He just kind of tricked me and lured me somewhere and just fucking, like a fucking psycho. He's probably a serial killer now. I remember telling my dad, and I remember when we left, he was getting beaten so bad by his mother with a wooden spoon. Was you, man? The kid screaming. I remember saying to my dad, why is she doing that? Because I didn't know that he'd probably told her that. He probably did. Because why else would he be getting the shit kicked out of him by the mother? Because she found out the kid's a fucking psycho. I remember that. That's interesting. I wrote down some stuff here. There were some worms on the pavement. And I remember they were my friends. I would kiss them, apparently, these fucking worms. And they were my friends, and then the garbage truck came along, and I told my mom, no, no. And they ran over them, and I was devastated, because I really felt that they were my friends, and it wasn't a joke. It's not just something you laugh at. And I really had empathy for those worms. Here I am laughing now. It's funny. This has been it was born into me to be an animal lover, I guess, of all sorts. Just not fucking spiders or cockroaches. Screw that shit. Or fleas. They can fuck right off. Oh yeah. The Voices, I think that was her last name, and I think it was these kids. Steve Voice and Chris Voice. They lived in the same complex. And at some point, was it before I whacked the kid with a stick? No, I think it was after I got a big boulder. The kid picked up a fucking boulder rock and whipped it at my fucking head, and right on the back of the head. And I remember going, holy fuck. I took this big stick, I don't know what it was, a hockey stick or what, and I just laid into him and fucking whacked him with that thing. There's a thing that's built in me. I get hurt by anyone, I'm going to fucking give it to him 10 times harder back. I've never been in a fight in my life, but that's the feeling I get within me. But I did do it then, and quite deserving. Like a big rock thrown at my fucking head. That's fucking crazy, man. And I remember they tried to get me again, but they had no chance. Speaking of sticks, this must have been a trend in this townhouse complex. I remember my brothers coming home with bloody faces and everything, going, "What the fuck is going on?" There was one complex, townhouse kids, and then ours. And then there was a strip of land that had willow trees, and they would always meet and have a war with branches and sticks and beat the fucking shit out of each other. Are we just born psychos? Like, that war mentality is just instinctual? Like perhaps? Like, wolves will do it, bears, cats, all living things will fight anything that's not in their tribe. Natives were all killing each other before we showed up. So they weren't any better. It's the same mentality. If you're not from the same tribe or the same whatever, you're going to want to kill the other one. And take what they have. We're fucked. All humans are fucked. All races of all kinds have done this shit. So, it sucks, but it's nature. It's life. It's a sick planet. What else can I remember? I remember seeing a lawnmower for the first time. It was like a push mower, but it was motorized. A push mower was a lawnmower that you actually pushed, and the blades would spin around and cut the grass. It worked great for about a week, and then it sucked shit. But anyways, I remember seeing this lawnmower freaking out, going, "What the fucking hell is that?" I literally thought it was a monster. I really did. I remember running to a neighbor's house, or not neighbor, but a house in that complex, banging on the door, like, for help. Help, it's a fucking monster. And they said, "No, it's this and that." They comforted me. And that, I thought it was kind of embarrassing. But then, another kid the day after freaked out as well when they saw a lawnmower. So it wasn't just me. Lawnmowers looked like scary monsters at one time. Yeah, so what else can I remember of my dad? Yeah, I know this is kind of boring, but I'm just trying to remember everything now while I can. I'm sure it's not very entertaining, but whatever. Remember my dad fixing a plug on a wall. Sparks were flying out of it, and he took my pajamas and ripped them because he needed it to handle the wires, which is kind of a crazy... Wouldn't they catch on fire? I think he shoved those pajamas in there too. I don't think he was... Probably a good doctor, but obviously not a good electrician. But I remember crying, going, "You ripped my fucking pajamas. What the fuck?" Right? Even then, I don't know. What else? I remember him building an igloo outside. That was interesting. All the cars that he bought. There was a Volkswagen Bug, a Volvo sports car, VW bus was the last thing he bought that he killed himself in. I remember a wood paneled station wagon. I believe it was a red big boat convertible. God, he bought a lot of fucking cars. I don't know if he was leasing them or buying them. I'm not too sure, but wow. Crazy. And I remember it all. It's interesting. I remember him taking photos of us all against this wall. He must have came back from Calgary Stampede, I'm assuming, with these cowboy hats, and that was our gift, I suppose, from him going there. And I remember us posing for those pictures. Right? Interesting. It's amazing I remember all this stuff, and I'm glad I do. I remember it vividly, too. It's not just a vague memory. I'm in the body. I can have all my senses around me of how it was right then. I remember a Christmas, too, when my dad bought this Ferris wheel that I was admiring at the store. The next day, there it was. And so I knew right away there was no Santa Claus. Pretty soon. But he was very nice that way. It's funny how I remember a lot of nice things about my dad more than I do my mom. Weird, eh? Especially in those days. So, but he wasn't always nice. My mom told me he loved to scare the shit out of me, and I remember it too. I remember being in a bathtub and him going, "There's a whale in the bathtub. It's a whale." And I think it was just being very innocent at the time and trying to entertain me with the water going down the drain. That would be the whale's spout. So I think he didn't mean anything by it at that time. But I think he was annoyed that I was too stupid to not clue into what he was talking about. So then he goes, "It's a whale, the spout." And I did clue in. How did I even know what a whale was at that age? would I ever see a whale or even hear the word a whale, the name whale? But I knew what it was. I don't know how. Anyways, he did it another day going, "It's a whale." And just looked at me, and I guess I was trembling in fear, and I kind of remember that. And I just enjoyed that like a sick fuck. There was another birthday party supposed to be happening, and the balloons were set up. One was a Mickey Mouse balloon with the ears, and I remember it was dark, and I see this strange silhouette in the dark going, "What the fuck?" crying. And I look over, I see my dad with his legs crossed. It's amazing I remember all these details. And swinging his leg, with his legs crossed. My mom was watching TV with him. And I'm hoping he's going to say something comforting, like, "Come here, don't worry." But he never did. He just kind of enjoyed watching me in fear. I remember my mom nudging him, going, "Don't do that, you tell him to come over." Then he did. So, that was weird. Oh God, there's another fucking weird thing. Being at the beach, my favorite beach, Port Stanley. I was crying because I thought the edge of the water and the horizon was a waterfall. And I'm freaking out. And he's like, "What's the matter?" I go, "It's a waterfall, it's a waterfall." And I'm crying. He goes, and he wouldn't comfort me into the fact to say that it wasn't. Then my mom comes over. I remember her coming over, leaning over his right side of him, going, "What's going on?" And, "Oh, he thinks it's a waterfall," whatever he said. So she left. And when she left, he looks at me and goes, "It is a waterfall." And I'm just like, ah! My mom never came back. I was like, "What the fuck?" I don't remember what happened after that, but yeah, so he definitely enjoyed scaring me. And what the fuck's that all about? Yeah, so much for having good memories of my parents. I'm trying to think of good things. Well, I guess I mentioned some good things about my dad. My mom, not so much in those days. I don't remember a fucking thing. Very far and few between. What were the good things? My mom making pies, coffee cake, popcorn, maybe. I don't know. You know what? This is boring as fuck. I know it's boring. So you know what? Fuck this shit. It's time to rock. I just re-recorded a song I wrote back in 1992 or 91, whatever it is, called "Fight It Hard." It's about some guy being kind of mentally disturbed from his upbringing. Hello. Is it me? Somewhat. But no, it could be anybody. But it's called "Fight It Hard," trying to fight your way through life and navigate and rise above any things that are bringing you down, I think. I wrote it a long time ago. Yeah, so I just re-recorded it. It's great. It's got the feel of Van Halen. And it's not a party song at all. But that's what Van Halen used to do. They'd write songs that were dark and topic, but it had a party feel musically, right? So that's what this is, called "Fight It Hard." And my brain needs a break from all those memories. And here it is. Enjoy the video.
Like this, they say he's lazy, comes from the wrong end of town, nicknamed him crazy, always trying to bring him down. This new generation can't see what he's out to see. Total different vibration, living in his own pocket train. Living in the mad world, carpet fall from under his feet, yeah. Kicking around in this new world, trying really hard to break free. Down and out in the city tonight. Oh yeah, the streets on the left and so to the right. Woo! succeed. Never found him rooted, treated like another bad seed. Only he knows the truth about his state of mind. Got love like a naked tooth for him to be left behind. Crazy boy in the wrong plane, lost in the land of dreams, yeah. Caught up in the cold rain, losing it at the seams. Down and out in the city tonight. Oh, the streets are left, just so to the right. Come on, boy, gotta hold on tight. Oh, gotta fight it hard from the inside out. Down and out in the city tonight. Oh, the streets are left just so to the right. Come on, boy, gotta hold on tight. Ooh, gotta fight it hard from the inside out. One more time. Down and out in the city tonight. Streets are left just so to the right. Come on, boy, gotta hold on tight. Ooh, gotta fight it hard from the inside out.
Hey, you're back. How'd you like the song? Pretty fucking good, I must say. I really enjoyed bringing that song back to life. You know what? Getting all these songs from the past, all recorded. I only have one more, I think. Maybe two. Then it's all just going to be new songs. This is just great. I'm finally in the present now of my road to rock. I had to re-record all the damn songs I did in the past. I didn't think I was going to do them all. But you know what? I wrote them, so fuck it. I don't give a shit if they sound dated. I like them, and maybe you will too. If you don't, you're fucking stupid. But anyways, looking at this damn tree here, Easter tree, trying to think of any memories of Easter back in the day when my dad was alive. I don't remember Easter. Did they not celebrate it? I don't know. I do remember some early Easters when I was a kid with my mom. One time staying at my cousin's house, Lori, why was I there? Why was I there at my cousin's house without all my other siblings for Easter? Did they go on a fucking trip without me? I don't know. Maybe they went to Jamaica or something without me. I don't know. I don't even know. I never even questioned that until now. Why did I miss Easter? And I had to have, because I remember my mom bringing over Easter baskets for me and my cousin Lori. And getting this genie bottle thing. You had to rub the lamp and a genie popped out. So that was my Easter gift. So she dumped me at my aunt's house while they all did something else. Another suspicious moment in my past. Well, you know, I've always loved Easter, Christmas, Halloween, because it all caters to my creative mind. I love it. The imagery, the ideas of elves running around at Christmas, bunny rabbits bringing chocolate. It's just so magical, so great. And I still love it to this day. I hope I don't lose that, right? You know it's all bullshit and fake, or is it? Is it? Elves aren't real and fairies? I don't know. You'd think they're real by being in my house. If you ever looked around, it's pretty crazy. But I think that's it for my spring show. I can't think of anything else to talk about. Can you? What has? Oh, I know one thing we can talk about. See this tree here? And it's spring. What happened here in Canada? We had forest fires in the springtime. What the fuck is that? Really? We've never had that happen to this extent ever since I've ever been alive. Especially that early in the season. And you see the fires, and those forests are pretty damn green. So why and how are they burning? They claim, oh, it's climate change. It's getting so fucking hot. Oh my God. And there's Trudeau blabbing his mouth going, well, it's climate change, folks, and it's going to get a lot worse. It's only going to get worse. Coast to coast to coast. Going to be forest fires. Yeah, because you're lighting them, you fucking asshole. Or your climate change activist freaks are doing it for you. So there's been some funny memes like this. When you need a climate crisis, all you need is a liberal, or whatever it says. And how true is that? Really pisses me off. All that wildlife, all those animals had babies that would never be able to outrun this. All of them murdered by these fucking climate crisis freaks. There is no global warming, no climate crisis. What, because you think there's a thunderstorm, or a tornado, or snow, or sun? That's called weather, folks. Weather. Do you not know that the Earth was tropical at one time? The whole fucking planet was tropical. Dinosaurs lived here. England was tropical. So because it's rising up a couple degrees, big fucking deal. It's just only getting back to what it used to be. Right? There wasn't supposed to be ice in the up north at all times. That was just formed because when whatever hit the Gulf of Mexico, the meteor, or asteroid, or whatever it was, it caused an ice age. If that was even the reason for that to be caused, who knows. But it's normal for the ice to melt, and the Earth is just trying to get back to what it used to be. And I think these guys know it, and because, you know, there's no clauses in the insurance when you buy places down in Florida that in case if the water rises, this is null and void. No, because they know it's all a bullshit story. So what is the real agenda? They want to ban the sale of gasoline engines. Why? So they can hog all the oil for themselves and just let the peasants pedal around on bikes and have electrical vehicles. You know, they're not going to be able to have enough material to even make that many batteries. And you imagine, that's probably why they lit the fires too, because they probably know there's all kinds of minerals under those trees. Is that why they did it? There was definitely an agenda. Not just to prove there's climate change, but they're sick enough just to do that for that reason. But no, if you can't just go outside, feel the weather, and not know that they're all full of shit, then there's something wrong with you. Some people go, oh, but it's so hot out. I go, no, it's the same fucking temperature it's always been every summer. Actually, it's been cooler this summer. You know what I love about this? Mother Nature, or God, or whatever, is saying, F you to Trudeau, lighting the damn fires and saying, oh, it's going to get hotter and fires are just going to be bursting everywhere. Ever since then, the earth, or the weather here, got cooler, and we got rain all summer long, and I love it. It's like, if there is a God, that's kind of a sign that there might be. And even now, the average temperature this summer has been 25. Usually it's 30 for at least a month. That's normal. We always had the air conditioner running. I haven't had to put that on at all. Not at all. And you know, when I was a kid, 1970s and 80s, our lawns were burnt to a crisp. To a crisp. Brown. Everyone's watering the lawns. All these sprinklers are going back and forth. We'd be playing in them. We don't need to do that anymore, folks. Do you remember? We don't have to water our lawns like we did in the past. What does that tell you? Still believe it's global warming? Really? Our lawns are green and lush all summer long. And it's been like that for quite a few years now. So no, global warming is a bunch of crap. And they know it. And that's why they changed it to the phrase climate change. It's such a scam. I don't know what they're really after. Well, for one thing, taxing us more money. We have to tax you because there's climate change. Fuck you. No one thinks about how all civilizations were all burning fires all at the same fucking time when there was no hydro, no gas, and we had to heat the house, cook, etc. Everyone was burning fires. There was fires and smoke everywhere. The earth can handle it. When the dinosaurs here, the CO2 or carbon monoxide was much greater in the atmosphere then. All the volcanoes going off and everything else. And you know what? That just makes the earth greener. Plants live off of that. They need that to survive. It's mind-boggling. And you know what? That's it for this episode. I know I bored the shit out of you with my stupid family memories. And I bored myself too. But you know, one day it'll be entertaining because I'll remember and go, oh yeah, that was my shitty life. But it's a miracle that I do remember. And I did remember that one of my songs I did kind of sucked. So I had to redo it. And it was right before the COVID scam started. And it was called Asian Sunrise. And amazingly, during the guitar solo, these cute little Chinese girls going, Happy New Year. And how weird that I made that song right before COVID hit. That's just so bizarre. But you know, it's called Asian Sunrise. About this Asian girl lifting me up, like wind beneath my wings, that kind of concept. And here it is, Asian Sunrise, making my life better and happier. And here's my remix of it. And hope you enjoy it. And I'll see you on the summer episode of Road to Rock. And I hope that I have a better story or video for you then, because this one kind of sucked.
In a spinning vortex, crushing me. Give me that to lift my broken wings. Hear my shattered heart and help it sing. Pull me from the quicksand, fill my cry for the burning of it. Tell me my Asian sunrise from the east. I'm loving the warmth of the sun.